I'll leave the specific question about the foul to my colleague, Commissioner Engelbert. I mean, other than as a fan, obviously, it's nothing new in basketball that there's sort of welcome to the league moments, especially for heralded rookies. But of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly. And
Adam Silver just watched the WNBA's billion-dollar asset Caitlin Clark get taken out of the league's biggest weekend, and he is not happy. Her All-Star Game absence isn't just bad luck, it's a direct symptom of a disease rotting the WNBA from the inside, a disease of weak leadership and disastrous officiating. While the official report calls it a groin injury, the truth is far more sinister. This was a preventable crisis, and now the most powerful man in basketball is signaling that his patience has run out. The WNBA has been put on notice, and its entire future is hanging in the balance.
Out there, she would be. Shortly before the show, Clark released this statement through the Fever's social media account saying that she's so excited for Indiana to host WNBA All-Star this weekend, and that she says she knows that this is going to be the best All-Star yet. But she does go on to say how incredibly sad and, quote, disappointed she will not be able to participate, adding, quote, "I have to rest my body. I'll still be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for all of the action. I'm looking forward to helping Sandy coach our team."
The announcement came on a Thursday, sending shockwaves through the sports world. Caitlin Clark, the face of the Indiana Fever and the engine behind the WNBA's newfound popularity, officially withdrew from the All-Star weekend. The culprit was a re-aggravated right groin injury, a nagging issue that had already cost her 5 games earlier in the season. But to understand the magnitude of this moment, you have to look beyond the medical report. This was happening in Indianapolis, the very city that had branded its entire All-Star celebration around her. Her face was on banners hanging from the airport, plastered on the side of hotels, and featured in every piece of promotion for the league's biggest weekend. Now, she would be a spectator.
But in terms of the comments, in terms of the way the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, who I've known and I like, the way she has trouble talking about Caitlin Clark, or if she's asked about Caitlin, then she will say, well, Caitlin and Angel. Well, she wasn't asked about Angel. She was asked about Caitlin. This incredible inability to deal with the facts and to state the obvious. It is astounding to me how Kathy Engelbert doesn't come out after the Marina Mabry hit and say, that's unacceptable. The refs got it wrong. Okay, should have been kicked out then. You weren't.
The financial and cultural impact of her absence is staggering. When Clark is in the lineup, the Indiana Fever's nationally televised games command an average of 1.81 million viewers. Since her injury, that number has cratered to just 847,000. That's a 53% free fall, an audience evaporation that represents millions of dollars in lost advertising revenue and a catastrophic loss of momentum. This is especially shocking for a player known for her incredible durability. Throughout her entire college career at Iowa, Clark never missed a single game. She was an Iron Woman, yet just a few months into her professional career under WNBA management, she's been forced to sit for multiple stints with quad and groin injuries. It raises a terrifying question. What is happening in this league that is breaking down its most valuable asset? This wasn't an accident, it was an inevitability, a crisis manufactured by incompetence at the very top.
The ball handler, there's a grab, there's a hold, there's another grab. I mean,
all of those are
fouls. Every single one of them. And here, that's a foul, and finally they call.
At the center of this storm is WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, whose leadership during this explosive period of growth has been bafflingly inept. Instead of championing her league's biggest star, she seems almost allergic to acknowledging Clark's singular impact. Esteemed sports columnist Christine Brennan has publicly called her out, pointing out Engelbert's bizarre habit of deflecting whenever Clark's name comes up. If a reporter asks a direct question about Caitlin, Engelbert will pivot and say, well, Caitlin and Angel, even when Angel Reese wasn't part of the question. It's an astounding inability to simply state the facts and embrace the phenomenon that is driving the league's success.
Ever been, the game is fast now. Things are happening quickly. Everybody's getting better, except the officials. So we gotta find a way to remedy it. I mean, you've heard every coach talk about it, so I don't know what the answer is.
This isn't just a PR blunder, it's a reflection of a deeper problem. When confronted with the mounting complaints about poor officiating and dangerous play, Engelbert's response was not one of concern, but of dismissive arrogance. She told reporters, "I do find it interesting when you sit in the chair I sit in that no winning team ever complains about officiating. No losing team ever doesn't complain about officiating." This comment is a slap in the face to every coach, player, and fan who has watched the league's officiating devolve into chaos. It dismisses legitimate safety concerns as mere sour grapes. This isn't the behavior of a leader trying to protect her players, it's the behavior of a bureaucrat who fundamentally misunderstands her role. Her primary job is to protect and grow the league, and its most valuable asset is being physically broken down while she offers condescending platitudes. But a leader is only as good as the system she oversees, and the league's officiating has become its biggest liability.
That you guys as an organization are doing? I mean, you're speaking out at this point, but anything more that you are doing or you hope to do to engage in the league and addressing these issues with the officiating that you've been very vocal with?
No, I mean, I think every year when we have our league meetings in the fall and in the spring, we say the same thing over and over and over. And nothing has changed.
The on-court officiating in the WNBA has spiraled into a full-blown crisis, creating a dangerous and unwatchable product. The problem was laid bare for a national audience when WNBA legend and ESPN analyst Rebecca Lobo lost her composure on air. While commentating on a game, she watched Clark get repeatedly grabbed and held without a whistle. In pure frustration, Lobo exclaimed, "There's a grab, there's a hold, there's another grab. I mean, all of those are fouls, every single one of them." When one of the game's most respected figures is publicly decrying the officiating on a live broadcast, it's a clear signal that the system is broken. The statistics paint an even more horrifying picture. Since opening day, players have suffered 141 injuries in a league with only 179 active players. This is an absolutely insane injury rate that should be setting off alarm bells in the league office. It's not just Clark, other stars are speaking out. Las Vegas Aces star Kelsey Plum went on a profane rant after one game, saying she gets fouled on every possession with opponents just swinging at her with no call. Players and coaches universally agree that games are called inconsistently, with a foul on one end of the court being ignored on the other. This isn't competitive basketball. It's chaos masquerading as professional sports. It's a dangerous environment where players are not being protected, and the league's failure to address it has led directly to its biggest star sitting out its biggest game. The specific incidents that have led to Clark's injuries read like a case file on negligence. The most infamous example was the shove from Marina Mabrey of the Chicago Sky. Long after a play was dead, Mabrey walked up to Clark and violently shoved her to the floor. In a moment of stunning incompetence, the on-court officials only assessed a common technical foul. The call was so obviously wrong that it triggered a firestorm of public backlash. Only after being publicly shamed was the league office forced to intervene and upgrade the foul to a flagrant 2. The officials failed to do their job in real time, and the league only corrected it under duress. This pattern of missed calls and dangerous plays has been relentless. The situation has become so alarming that Clark's own family has stepped in. After his sister was injured again, her brother, Colin Clark, tweeted bluntly, "Make no mistake, this is on the reffing." When a player's family feels compelled to publicly blame league officials for causing physical harm, you have lost all control. Clark's own coach, Stephanie White of the Indiana Fever, has been pleading for help for months. She has repeatedly called out the egregious and disrespectful officiating her team has endured. Following a particularly chaotic game against the Connecticut Sun, which ended with 5 technicals and 3 ejections, White unleashed a multi-minute rant, stating that the game is getting faster and players are getting better, but everybody's getting better except the officials. In a moment of raw honesty, she admitted that coaches bring up the same issues every single year in league meetings, over and over and over, and nothing has changed. When a coach openly admits the league has known about and ignored these problems for years, it's no wonder the NBA is starting to get nervous. This escalating crisis has finally forced the hand of the most powerful man in the sport, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. In carefully chosen words, Silver stated that he wants to see Caitlin Clark treated fairly and appropriately in the league. For a man like Silver, who measures every word, this is the diplomatic equivalent of a nuclear option. It's a public warning shot fired directly at Cathy Engelbert and the WNBA leadership. The NBA is not just a casual observer, it's a direct business partner. The WNBA's success is intrinsically linked to the NBA's brand, and its failures reflect poorly on the entire ecosystem. Silver's concern goes far beyond simple fairness. The WNBA is on the cusp of negotiating a new, potentially massive media rights deal. The value of that deal is almost entirely dependent on the presence of Caitlin Clark. A damaged product, a league where the main attraction is constantly sidelined due to preventable injuries, is worth significantly less to networks like ESPN, ABC, and Amazon. Silver sees the WNBA fumbling a billion-dollar opportunity, and he is signaling that the NBA's patience is wearing thin.
His comments are not a friendly suggestion. They are an order from the head office to fix this mess before it jeopardizes the financial future of the entire league.
And the numbers show just how much money is at stake. To understand why this situation is so catastrophic, you simply have to follow the money. The Caitlin Clark effect is not a media narrative. It is a quantifiable economic phenomenon. In 2024, ESPN has seen its WNBA television ratings skyrocket by an incredible 170%. The ION network has seen a 133% increase. These are numbers that are almost unheard of in modern media. Clark's drawing power was evident even before she turned pro. Her final college game at Iowa drew 18.7 million viewers, more than any NBA Finals game that year. Her Final Four game drew 14.2 million, making it ESPN's most watched basketball game, college or pro, men's or women's, ever. This dominance has continued in the WNBA. Of the 23 games this season to surpass the seven-figure viewership mark, Clark was a participant in all but 3 of them. On the list of the most watched WNBA games, you have to scroll all the way down to number 15 to find the first one that doesn't feature the Indiana Fever. The betting markets, which react instantly to a player's value, tell an even starker story. Within a week of Clark's injury, sports betting on Fever games dropped by nearly 50%. When one player's absence can single-handedly crater TV ratings, merchandise sales, ticket prices, and the national betting market, her health is not just a team issue. It is the league's single most important economic pillar. By failing to protect her, the WNBA isn't just risking a player's career, it's actively setting fire to hundreds of millions of dollars in future revenue. The damage from this fiasco is now cascading into every corner of the league, threatening its long-term health. The fans, the lifeblood of any sport, are in open revolt. Online petitions demanding officiating accountability have gathered thousands of signatures, with fans writing that games are marred by questionable officiating and a lack of appropriate disciplinary action for overly aggressive and dangerous play. This isn't just criticism, it's a loss of faith in the integrity of the product. Even more concerning are the long-term physical effects on Clark. Sports analysts have pointed out the disturbing pattern of her injuries, jumping from quad to groin. This suggests her body is suffering from compensation issues, breaking down mechanically under the constant physical abuse that officials are allowing. The root of this problem lies in the league's flawed structure. WNBA referees are not full-time salary professionals. They are paid per game and often split duties with the NCAA, creating a system that is not equipped to handle the speed, intensity, and high stakes of the modern game. This structural problem has created an environment where officials are neither trained nor incentivized to protect the league's most valuable assets. All of these failures, the weak leadership, the broken officiating, the preventable injuries, have created a perfect storm at the worst possible time. If you think things couldn't get worse, you're wrong. Beneath all this chaos ticks a time bomb. The league's collective bargaining agreement, or CBA, expires on October 31st, 2025. Players are already bracing for a work stoppage, and the league's mishandling of Clark has just handed the players' union an arsenal of leverage. The players see the geysers of new revenue that Clark is generating, the sold-out arenas, the massive TV deals, the merchandise flying off shelves. They know that money is flowing into the league, and they will demand their fair share. But now, the negotiation isn't just about money, it's about survival. How can Commissioner Engelbert bargain in good faith when her office has proven it can't even perform the basic function of keeping its players safe? The union can now walk into negotiations and point to Clark's empty seat at the All-Star Game as Exhibit A of the league's failures. They can argue that if the league can't protect its most important asset, then it can't be trusted with anything. Engelbert's incompetence has turned a standard labor negotiation into a potential existential crisis. A lockout or strike in 2026, right when the league should be capitalizing on its momentum, could be the final nail in the coffin, extinguishing the Clark effect for good. What makes this entire situation so tragic is the betrayal of history. For over 2 decades, the WNBA fought for relevance. It relied on pioneers who played for peanuts, who built the league's foundation out of passion and grit, all while dreaming of a day when the sport would finally break into the mainstream. That day finally arrived. Caitlin Clark delivered that dream on a silver platter. She brought with her millions of new fans, unprecedented media attention, and a level of cultural relevance the league had never known. She was the fulfillment of a 25-year-old promise.
And the league is squandering it. This isn't just a business fumble, it's a historic failure. The failure to protect Clark is a betrayal of every player who came before her, and it jeopardizes the future for every player who will come after. The 10 largest WNBA television audiences since 2002 have all come this year, and every single one of them featured Caitlin Clark. When one player is single-handedly responsible for every ratings record in a generation, allowing her to be broken down by a dysfunctional system isn't just malpractice, it's a desecration of a historic opportunity. The league was handed a gift, and instead of cherishing it, they are letting it be shattered by negligence and weak leadership. We are witnessing a perfect storm of failure. A once-in-a-generation talent capable of lifting an entire league to new heights is being physically dismantled. A commissioner, tasked with steering the ship through this golden era, has proven to be asleep at the wheel. A flawed and incompetent officiating system is creating a dangerous on-court product, and the fans are beginning to turn away in disgust. And through it all, the NBA is watching, with Adam Silver's polite concerns serving as a final ominous warning. The WNBA was handed a winning lottery ticket in Caitlin Clark. What happens next will determine whether they cash it in or let it burn. The All-Star Game will go on without her, a hollowed-out celebration that serves as a monument to the league's own incompetence. The question is no longer if the WNBA will fix this problem, but whether they can do it before everything they've built comes crashing down.